Rob, one more time to your left. One more, look this way for me.
I mean, it was kind of an incredible space to work in. Weird, for sure. I can't wait to see what people think. Like, completely different from the Mythic Quest set, but the Grimpop set is like a work of art. I mean, pretty much everyone from Mythic Quest is now in a completely different role. Everyone's been uprooted, everyone's got a completely new challenge to deal with. The chaos is still the same, but we're finding every character in a completely different position.
So yeah, I play Brad Bakshi. He is mischievous. He's, I guess, the villain in the office. I actually consider him the hero. He is the head of monetization in Season 1. Season 2, he has a little bit of a slide into evil, ends up in prison. But he did it for street cred, and now he's back out. He is returning to Mythic Quest. He's on a redemption tour. He's now the janitor, and he's had time to plot.
No, Season 3, how do we get here? I don't know. They just keep bringing us back. We have a show about a workplace comedy set in the video game space, which there's just not another show, I think, that tackles that area, and it seems like a show that generates specific stories, but also universal stories. David is used to dealing with huge egos, usually Ian and Poppy's, but now it's Ian and Joe Manganiello's for this season. Which together, both Rob and Joe, really, they just would go off script in some sort of aggro bro improvs that were a little too eerily natural. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Well, in Season 1, we really established that Joe has this obsession and unhealthy drive towards power. And then in Season 2, we watched that addiction turn evil until she basically crashes and burns. And in Season 3, we see what happens when she's trying to be more reformed. I love the fact that she's kind of like these extremes. There's nothing about her that's in the middle, a gray area. It's like she's either this sweet, kind of like schoolgirl, or just like a raging monster.
It goes a lot deeper into the character's backstory, so I think they should definitely be excited for it.
What I really love about this season is Dana's really coming into her own and kind of betting on herself a little bit. She was set up to be this kind, innocent, sweet, unassuming character, but she's also a boss. You know, she's black, she's queer, young, and she's the new generation who's willing to put in that work and take what she's learned from her bosses and put her own twist on it. She's the best of both worlds between Ian and Poppy. She can do it all.
Rachel is having a little bit of an existential crisis. I don't want to spoil anything, but one of our characters sort of sees a vulnerability in her that he thinks he might be able to exploit. So I think that's kind of where it goes.
I played Joe Manganiello on Mythic Quest. What's interesting is that, David Hornsby and I went to Carnegie Mellon together. So he knows me pretty well. And also, when you're talking about a show that's about video gaming and kind of that whole world, I exist probably because of my relationship to Dungeons and Dragons over the years. So it's fun. It's a really fun part. I can't tell you everything because there's big surprises, but I will tell you that there is a showdown between me and Rob's character, Ian.
Well, at the end of Season 2, Poppy and Ian left Mythic Quest, which is a pretty big move to have the two main characters leave the name of the show. But we decided that we wanted to give ourselves a challenge for Season 3, so we decided they were going to venture out and do their own game. And so what's new is that you're going to see for the first time Poppy coming into her own, working on her own game instead of working on Ian's game, and their new dynamics in their new office where it's just the two of them starting all over again. It's pretty exciting.
All right.
We kind of blew up the show at the end of season 2, which was really scary, but that's something we always try to do, is just keep things fresh and scary, and you never know what's going to happen. We weren't really sure what we were going to do with the two of them. Definitely no romance. They're more like brother and sister, but we found that once we moved them into the new spot, you can't have them be too successful, otherwise there's no show. They're going to go through their own trials and tribulations.
You're going to see our 2 creative directors, off on their new adventure. Season 2 ended in a cliffhanger, so now we're exploring what happens when the 2 creative forces of Mythic Quest go on to do something else and leave David to run the show.